it's still international break, and you're probably thinking, "Hold on, you're wearing the same hoodie that you wore yesterday." I'm not. We're stacking videos. We're stacking other videos. Your videos, actually, not even our videos. We asked you guys, give us some suggestions to stop us all going bored throughout the international break. So you've given us questions and topics to discuss, which is what we're doing now. And today's topic is, I'm doing that because I don't know. Gio knows.
It's from Tom Sellers, who says, I'd like to hear the conversation about if West Ham fans expect too much. When we announced we were moving to the London Stadium, the owner said this would help us become a regular European team. Obviously, we've had an amazing time in the European competition recently, but after the disappointing style of play under Moyes and a poor season last year, are the fans right to want more? Or are the media team right in saying, be careful what you wish for?
I like it. I like it. Cheers, Tom. Right. Okay. A few things to separate there. I would like to separate us winning a European trophy from the club pledging it. I, I, I'm happy to make the case that actually that was not to do with the stadium move. I just, I really don't. They can have credit for hiring David Moyes if you like, because I think that had something to do with it. Certainly, I think bringing in Jared Bowen clearly had something to do with it. I think the recruitment, but I don't think that was the vision. I think the vision was that we moved to the London Stadium, we become this big financial powerhouse, and we sort of power our way into Europe. I think nobody could have pre-invented the concept of a smaller conference style European competition would be created, and we'd go on and we'd win that. I don't think so. I think in many
Could you
respects,
imagine trying to pitch that?
what's your 10-point plan?
Yeah, we're moving to London. Why is that? Because UEFA are going to create a new competition, and we're going to get in it and win it.
It's not going to be quite as good as the other ones, but we're going to make, because we've got such a good fan base, we're going to make it look really good, and we're going to take more fans to our one than Man City take to the Champions League. Yeah, look, I mean, look, well, what a great fan base we got, by the way. That's the other thing, which would lead me to, do West Ham fans expect too much? No, I don't think we do, and I think we're misunderstood. And the whole thing with the West Ham are massive as well. It's misunderstood. It's a sarcastic song. The song West Ham are massive. We can't believe this happening. Do you know what I mean? Hey, come on, West Ham are massive. We know it's a sense of irony. It's self-deprecating. But to hear other people talk, oh, that West Ham, they talk about West Ham are massive. What do they think they're better than Real Madrid or bigger than Real Madrid? No, we don't. Which is it's a self-deprecating song. It's not us that are missing out on anything. It's you lot who are missing out on the self-deprecating humour of it, actually. But I don't think we expect too much because I don't. The trouble is the media. With be careful what you wish for. The media reframe it. So what they say is West Ham want rid of David Moyes because they think they could be and should be doing better, which by association gives the impression that we think we need to get rid of David Moyes because actually we think we should be winning the Champions League. We don't. I don't see it. I don't recognise it. I don't see anyone writing it in any of the comments, the videos, in any of the suggestions anyone sends in, or in anything we do. I just don't see that at all. I really don't. So actually, it comes down to okay, what are you asking for? What are we as fan base asking for? I think we're asking for a little bit more entertainment. And here's why I don't think that's asking for too much. I think when you take a fan base that has 34,000 fans and stick them in an arena that has 60,000 fans, if you like, take away the away fans, it's probably 62 or whatever. Let's just, for argument's sake, say 50,000 West Ham fans, right? It's more than that, but let's call it that. If you're going to take 34,000 and try and turn them into 50,000, give them an extra something to get them turning up, right? Certainly, you're going to have to do that. I think entertainment is one of them. And I think there were times during the last season with David Moyes, it was very boring at that stadium. It was some boring football. And I think if you're going to ask people to turn up in their thousands more than they've ever turned up, which is what you're asking, then you're going to ask them to watch football where you might go through a whole half and not have a shot. I think the two things probably don't marry up and probably don't align. So I don't think I don't think we're asking too much.
I think some people do. It's difficult really because everybody's expectations are different, and everybody's desires are different. I've got a couple of friends that didn't want Moyes to go. They were happy with Moyes because they felt that we could potentially go on and win a trophy in future under him. My argument against that was weak because he's done it. He's gone on and
Yeah.
won a trophy. So I know people that wanted him to stay, but I remember there was a comment last year that really struck me about a year ago. Because, and funny enough, it was similar to a video we've just done in terms of predictions. And I made a comment about like not. I think we might finish seventh or eighth or something. And someone called me negative for not thinking we'd get top four football. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, "Whoa, what? Like
Mm.
that? You think finishing seven, a prediction of seven, is negative, but I think a prediction of finishing top four is just deluded, quite frankly. Now come the end of the season, I was correct and he was wrong. But
Which is just how
my,
you like it.
my point is, his ex that per that's that poster's expectations was top four football. Now, while I think it's wholly unrealistic, that was an expectation of him. But in general, I don't think anybody's expecting that, the general consensus. So what are we expecting? I think that is the question you have to answer before you can answer the question, are our expectations too much? Or what are the expectations? And for me, my expectations originally were for the club to deliver what they promised.
Mhm.
And I feel that is a fair expectation. I think it's quite a simple one. And I would suggest on the pitch they've delivered. And now I'm going to say that there's a lot of an element of luck here, and they
Yeah.
fluked it a little bit. I don't think they, like you said, how could you plan winning the Conference League when it didn't exist? And when they employed David Moyes for the second time, nobody can convince me in a month of Sundays that David Sullivan employed him thinking this guy's going to lead us to European football. No chance, because if you believe that, you'd have kept him on the first time.
Yeah.
So he's got very lucky. David Sullivan has got tremendously lucky with the success of the last few years. The success of the few years has been down to David Moyes, not David Sullivan. But off the pitch, while on the pitch, they will have delivered what they've said, which is European football. Off the pitch, they have not because of that stadium. They promised a few things. One of there's footage of these
Mm.
promises being made. There's footage of Karen Brady talking about affordable football. It ain't affordable. You're taking the affordability away.
Yeah.
There's footage of David Gold saying, "Oh, we
Yeah.
can't move. The stands aren't as close as they are at Upton Park. We can't move."
Yeah.
That has not happened. They're all three of them, Gold, Sullivan, and Brady. There's footage of each of them saying things in regards to this move which have not yielded. They have not come true. So my expectations were based off of what they said, and they haven't delivered on that. So are we expecting too much? Well, the answer is yes. It's simply because we expected them to back up what they claimed. That's the biggest thing we're guilty of, is for assuming they were going to deliver what they were promising ahead of the move to London Stadium. And that's it. Would you like to do your promotion before we discuss more?
I would love to do my Manscape promotion. Thank you very much, Jeff. I'm going to promote. I'm going to try and promote at the moment this Manscape 5.0. Right now, there's any number of products I can promote. Let me tell you why this particular one is so good and better than the Manscape 4.0, which again is probably significantly better than the 3.0. It's not that this has got a torch. It's not that you can actually use this in a shower. And when I mean in the shower, I don't just mean when you're wet. I mean when the water's cascading down, you can still use this. Don't worry, you're not going to electrocute yourself. This has got ceramic blades. Why are ceramic blades important? Well, they're better than metal blades because metal blades cut you. But I'll tell you what I love about this, and I've got to be brave to do this live on a video because it is, it is a little, not that. Not
Oh,
that. This nozzle that you see on the top, that'll all be familiar to loads of you. It's the normal thing that you do a trim up with. You can actually take that nozzle off. That just comes off just like that. And this all comes with it in the same pack. I've actually got a graphic for this. Then you get this bit here, which is, you all know this. It's got two other shavers for doing close trims as well. And it's got, I don't know what you'd call that bit there.
foil.
The foil. That just clips on here. And that's on there now. It's as simple as that. Honestly, I've done it live on a video. The torch still works. You can actually turn the torch on and off. This is the best male grooming tool that money can buy. And I'll tell you that now, but you don't have to spend all your money to buy it because we're going to give you 20% off by using the promo code HammersChatPubes. All one word. It's not even a real word, is it? We made it up. But if it were, it would be all one word. HammersChatPubes. That gives you 20% off of every bit of Manscaped merch that you can put in your virtual basket when you visit the website, which is in the link below. Not only that, we're gonna I was gonna say we're gonna deliver it to your house for free. It's not gonna be Gio's not gonna be riding up on his Mary Poppins bicycle. No, it will go in the post and someone will bring it and deliver it to
Unless you
your
live in
doorstep.
Stoke, you can get it delivered to my house and I'll bring it to you. But
There
apart
you
from
go.
that,
There's something. There's something you don't want a freshly shaven Geo bringing around your new pube shaver. But anyway, they do a load of other stuff as well. Go and check out everything they got on their website. It's really great gear. They're great sponsors as well. Link is in the description below. Hammers Chat Pubes. Gio, I wanted to say something else
go
actually
on.
before you carried on to the next bit there, which is really about expectation. West Ham have had an awful lot of money over the last few seasons, and I don't think our expectations are unrealistic, really. The expectations to be able to sign a workable striker solution. We just it's terrible. Now that may not be to do with. I'm not saying all this stuff is to do with Gold or Sullivan or anything else. You know, I mean that's been that's been a bit of a problem for quite a few years now. It really has. But I think in many respects, Gold and Sullivan. Sorry, I say Gold. Poor old David Gold. You know what I'm saying? GSB, as Sullivan as it is now, Kretinsky. They're a victim of their own backing in the transfer window as well. Because here's my point. We have some really good players. All right, things are going a little bit south for Lucas Paqueta, but Lucas Paqueta, Mohamed Kudus, Jared Bowen, Emerson. We kept all these players, and then to add a load of other really good players, be they Kilman, to Debo, Wan-Bissaka, to add, we got Edson Alvarez there as well, to add more players, really good players. I think we're allowed an expectation. If we don't sell all those guys, then actually I do believe that this board have supported their managers with good funding. I
Yeah.
really do. I really do. But that itself creates an expectation. So I think sometimes that's not factored in when, and I'm talking about the media here, when the media is saying West Ham fans expect too much. Well, we won. You know, there you could make the point. Last season we had the best crop of young talent in the country. Won the FA Youth Cup. We spent all this money. We got some borderline world class players as well. I would suggest that actually, we just done our prediction video, were we to finish mid table, we've underachieved, and I actually think that winning the Conference League is right at our level, actually. And I think when you think it's created, because we talk about them not having the foresight or the vision to understand that a third tier of European football be created, that's nobody's fault, of course. It very nearly went down to 8th place last season. Very nearly. It didn't. And David Moyes was on himself for comparing himself and saying, well, previous West Ham managers didn't qualify for Europe as often as I did. Well, no, they didn't, David. But to be fair, they weren't handing out European places like confetti back in the day, because had they done that, there would have been other West Ham managers that did qualify for Europe. And who knows what would have happened then. But I do think that's sort of our level. I do think that probably once you look past the top 6 or the big 6, I think we should be there or thereabouts. And I think particularly bear in mind some of those other clubs like Newcastle who come in, who really thought they were going to powerhouse their way through, have not been allowed to spend, which I don't agree with, by the way. I would defend Newcastle's right to spend, just in the same way as I would defend our right to a billionaire to take us over and spend us to the top. But I think bearing that in mind, we have a right. That's a disgraceful word. I don't mean that. We are within our rights to have enough ambition as fans to perhaps expect a little bit more than a dalliance and a flirt with relegation, you know?
Yeah, I think when you expect something, sometimes you need an example to back up your claim. Well, I want this to happen. Yeah, but how can you expect that to happen? Well, the best bit of evidence you can give is an example elsewhere, which is compatible. I think Aston Villa and Newcastle United are that, which is, well, they've finished in the Champions League spot. So what's preventing us?
Yeah.
Because it ain't finances, it ain't stadium
No.
size, it ain't fan base size. So it's not even spending the transfer market. So what is it? What's preventing us? And even when you look at the squads one by one, they're fair. We're up there with Aston Villa. So the question would be, if you swap managers, would your team get better? You can't. The answer is not yes for all three clubs. Someone's going to have to say no here. But because we had European football, I think it's a legitimate excuse. It is. I think having European football does hinder you. Newcastle United are an example of that. Fourth, had European football and didn't qualify for European football for this season. They were hampered by having European
Yeah.
football. This season, Aston Villa will be a test for them. You have got Champions League football now. Can you compete in that and get back into the Champions League? Because if you can do that, that would be a tremendous success. My suspicion would be they might fall a bit short, and the team that will take advantage of that is Chelsea, who have the Conference League, but they ain't taking that too serious. Cole Palmer's not even registered for
No.
that squad. But you flip it back to West Ham and say, well, why can't you do it? Like you said, it could go down to 8th, which means more than a third of the Premier League will be playing European football. So it's not even like you need to finish in top 6. You need to finish in the top third of the Premier League. There are other clubs that you're competing with haven't been in the Premier League half as long as you have been. There's got to be a benefit to that financially. There's got to be a benefit to playing in the London Stadium, having 60,000 people there week in, week out. So we should be within our right to expect success. Now, success is different for every club. Success for Ipswich Town is finishing 17th in the Premier League this season. Success for Man City is winning the Premier. Second ain't success for them. It's winning the Premier League. And for West Ham, it's qualifying for European football or winning a trophy. That is success. And why shouldn't it be? Can we achieve it? Yes. Do you think we will? Not really. But we should be allowed to aim for these things, because if we get told you're not allowed to want that, then what's the point? What's the point if you're not allowed to expect success at your football club? Well, what, 12? We're just going to finish 12. Then don't bother spending 100 million next summer, because you don't need to. You've already got a squad capable of finishing 12. You might as well not add to it anymore. This is something I haven't discussed. My disappointment in an expectation I had last season. I didn't want David Moyes sacked last season. And the biggest reason I didn't want David Moyes sacked was because I didn't think we'd get relegated. So I thought, well, let's just let him see out his contract and use that time. You're basically having Moyes see out his contract from the summer 2023 to 24. You're buying yourself a season, which is a huge amount of time in football. It's massive for a chairman, for a director of football like Tim Steidten. A year is a significantly long time. I thought in that, my expectation as a fan was use that year to find a guy to replace David Moyes, to plan your transfer window. And in the summer, I was disappointed because the hiring of Lopetegui did not feel like we had used that year to find a replacement for David Moyes. And this is what I couldn't get my head around when we signed James Ward-Prowse with the Declan Rice money. He turned out to be an all right signing. I don't think it was as bad as some say. It was an all right signing. He did all right for us last year. He was good last year. But we signed James Ward-Prowse because Southampton got relegated. Well, what if they didn't get relegated? Then what? And it was a signing of opportunity, but that wasn't a signing that was planned. You couldn't sit there in August and go, I think Southampton are going to get relegated in May, so in June we'll sign James Ward-Prowse. You can't have that, because what happens if they don't? Then what? Your whole year's plan just gets torn up a little bit. So when we came round and hired Lopetegui, I thought, really? That's what you've come up with? You've had a whole year, and your answer is the unemployed guy that was at Wolves. That wasn't... I was left disappointed in the summer by the lack of using the time they'd bought by keeping David Moyes. So my expectation was to get prepared for the summer, and in the summer, coming out off the back of it, I didn't really feel that it was a summer of execution through preparation. And you can almost... There's some things where Somerville, that was a signing that was prepared. We were doing the business back in April. Yeah, well done. Right, fine, well done. Fulkrug,
no.
I'm not having that. Rodriguez, well, he was due to join Barcelona, so you couldn't have planned that Xavi was going to get sacked and then you were going to get him, kind of thing. So I think in the summer I was a bit disappointed by the lack of preparation, and my expectation was we'd be prepared. And I'm hoping that that's something we can change this season. But to summarize it, do West Ham fans expect too much? No, I think some do, but generally, the big proportion, I don't think so.
And I think that's it. If you say that roughly the top third qualify for Europe, that's really it. That's what you're saying. For all the money we've spent, 60,000 fans at the stadium, should West Ham be hoping to finish top third? I don't think it's an unrealistic expectation or hope or dream or whatever it is. So I don't think that the media would like to cast us as being deluded. They like to make out that we think we should be bigger than Liverpool, or we don't. We just don't. We probably want to be where we probably should be, you know. And I think that's all there is to it. Tom, thanks for sending that in, mate.